Oklahoma City hospitals are reaching full capacity in the ICU. The mask mandate is extending again, and the Supreme Court nominee is facing questions from the senators. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Lindsey Gibbs.
And I'm Will Blessing. Tonight we begin with breaking news. Hospitals in Oklahoma City and Norman are nearly full with COVID patients. OU Nightly's Sydney Baulier is live at Norman Regional Hospital to give us an update. Sydney?
This morning at the Oklahoma City City Council meeting, the Regional Medical Response Director stated that there were 0 available ICU beds in Oklahoma City. Now that was at 7 a.m. I spoke to her at about 3 p.m. and she did say that there were beds now available in Oklahoma City. And she also said that the numbers have been fluctuating and fluctuate hourly due to patients' medical conditions strengthening or worsening. Statewide, she said that the numbers for ICU beds available have been around 3 to 5% around the whole state. I spoke to someone at Norman Regional Hospital and she said that there are beds available here in Norman. She couldn't give me the exact capacity rates, but if people do need care, beds are available here in Norman. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sydney. Oklahoma's state Democratic leader Kay Floyd called on Governor Stitt this afternoon to take stronger action to combat the rising number of COVID cases. So far, there is no word on any new action from the governor's office.
News of the high number of hospitalizations had an impact on the Oklahoma City mask mandate today. It's now extended for nearly another 2 months. The city is running this public service announcement on TV stations throughout the area. The council voted to extend its mask mandate through December 7th today. Face coverings are required, age 11 and up, and must cover the nose and mouth. This includes masks and face shields. They must be worn in all indoor places open to the public. The city of Norman implemented a similar mandate. It's currently in place through at least November 30th.
Statewide, the number of COVID cases continues to climb, and more Oklahomans are in the hospital with COVID than ever before. The Oklahoma State Health Department reports just over 1,300 new cases today. That brings the number of active COVID cases in Oklahoma to 13,000. 15 new deaths were reported this morning for a total of 1,119 deaths due to COVID statewide. The city of Norman says there are 26 new COVID cases in the city today, for a total of 426 active COVID cases in Norman right now. OU reports its COVID numbers differently and a day behind the city and state numbers. The university says there are 337 students and staff in isolation due to COVID. 78 of those people tested positive, and the remainder are in isolation where either directly exposed to someone with COVID or have COVID symptoms and are waiting on their test results.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is wrapping up day 2 of Judge Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearing. Today, senators questioned the nominee on the Affordable Care Act, Roe v. Wade, and racial justice in America. While senators pressured Barrett to commit to a ruling on upcoming and controversial cases, she says she is 100% committed to judicial independence from political pressure, specifically from the president or party politics. Barrett said that she does not have a plan towards reversing Roe v. Wade.
I don't have any agenda. I have no agenda to try to overrule Casey. I have an agenda to stick to the rule of law and decide cases as they come.
Questioning will continue tomorrow.
The FBI says it's making progress in the investigation regarding the kidnapping plot of the Michigan governor. Jessie Klinger is in the news center with that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Lindsay. Earlier today, FBI agent Richard Trask revealed in a preliminary hearing that the group charged in the plot to kidnap the Michigan governor had also targeted Virginia Governor Ralph Northam. 13 people were charged in an alleged domestic terror plot to overthrow several state governors they believed were violating the U.S. Constitution. Agent Trask says the group targeted these particular governors for their coronavirus-related lockdown orders. Governor Northam's press secretary says the governor was never in any danger. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson introduces a new 3-tier lockdown system as hospitals are filling up with more COVID-19 patients than in March.
We're entering a new and crucial phase in a fight against coronavirus. because the number of cases has gone up 4 times in 4 weeks, and it's once again spreading among the elderly and vulnerable.
Under the new measures, areas in England are classified into 3 groups by risk and will be placed under restrictions accordingly, with the lowest tier continuing to follow current guidelines. Pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly is pausing clinical trials for a potential coronavirus treatment for safety reasons, but provided no insight on what happened. Clinical trials are usually paused when a volunteer gets sick or suffers a side effect. This announcement comes a day after Johnson & Johnson paused its phase 3 vaccine trials and was the second vaccine maker to do so in the U.S. Eli Lilly is testing what is known as a monoclonal antibodies treatment, which is similar to the treatment that was recently given to President Trump. And the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore welcomes the first chicks of an endangered species of penguin for the season. The zoo expects to hatch a total of 10 chicks between now and February. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jessie. As researchers continue the search for a COVID vaccine, the CDC is also saying it's very important to get a flu shot this year. Goddard Health here at OU is providing free flu shots to students tomorrow. And as OU Nightly's Brooke Murski tells us, you don't even need to get out of your car.
All right, and on the count of 3, I'm going to give you a big stick. 1, 2, 3, big stick.
Reducing the spread of the flu in 2020 is more important than ever. The University of Oklahoma is hoping to curb the spread with free flu shots for students.
You are all done. You've gotten the flu shot for this year.
Thank you. The flu is a leading cause of death for Oklahomans and several other states too. Conveniently set up in the Jenkins parking lot, Goddard nurse Janet Teal encourages everyone to get the vaccine.
It's important to always get a flu shot to make sure that you're protecting yourself and protecting others around you that are more vulnerable populations.
To get a drive-through flu shot, all you need to do is register online, hop in your car, and show the nurse your OU ID.
You can schedule an appointment through OU's health portal, healthconnection.ou.edu.
Helps keep you healthy and in class, and even if you do get the flu, it's usually a much milder strain if you've gotten your flu shot for the year.
The CDC recommends getting a flu shot by the end of October to help prevent getting the flu during the pandemic. Brooke Murski, OU Nightly.
You can schedule to get a flu shot from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Goddard. If you can't make it tomorrow, most pharmacies offer flu shots every day.
And what a great day it would be to get a flu shot today. I mean, the weather is absolutely perfect.
You're right, Lindsey. It is a really beautiful fall day. Now, meteorologist Hannah Gard has a first look at our forecast. Hannah?
Yeah, guys, it's very nice out there. If you take a look, no clouds, but it's actually feeling pretty hot. Not likely fall, but we're in the 80s, our dew point in the 30s, so it's pretty dry out there. Across the state, we're in the high 70s and 80s for our temperatures, so it's feeling very warm. This won't be the case as we go throughout this week, though. Tomorrow, it'll be similar to today. We'll be in the high 80s, but then it'll get windy. We'll see a cold front move through, dipping us into the 60s by Thursday, so coming up, I'll have more on that.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Hannah. Election day is just 3 weeks away, and already there are issues for voters. Coming up, we'll take a look at what went wrong in Virginia today and how this could affect voters.
Plus, worries surrounding students and their jobs on campus and how they'll hold up when OU moves online when OU Nightly continues.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Election day is quickly approaching and some states are in the process of early voting. Sydney Forsee joins us in politics.
Thanks, Lindsey. We are just 3 weeks away until Election Day, and Americans are already breaking early voting records. As of this morning, more than 10.6 million voters have cast their ballots nationwide, compared to just 1.4 million in 2016. The states of Texas and Georgia opened early voting today, resulting in long lines and wait times. Georgia and the more populated counties in Texas reported record highs for the first day of early voting. Oklahoma opens in-person early voting on October 29th, but if you don't want to wait, join the other Oklahomans voting through absentee ballot. So far, almost 300,000 ballots have been requested and over 100,000 have been returned. The deadline to request an absentee ballot is Tuesday, October 27th at 5 p.m. For more information, go to the Oklahoma State Election Board website. And Virginia's online voter registration crashed this morning, taking down the entire online registration system throughout the state. The crash is due to a computer outage from a cut fiber cable. This site is used for first-time registrations and applying for absentee ballots. It is unclear whether the Department of Elections will allow registration in the state to be extended due to the system shutdown. This comes a week after Florida's voter registration crashed. And with so many crazy things already happening during the early voting process, make sure you plan time to cast your ballot, because I know I will. That's it for Today in Politics. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Sydney. I'll definitely need to be doing that as I head down to Dallas to vote too.
After Thanksgiving, students will be returning to all online courses. While that may be best case scenario for some, student workers worry if they will still have their on-campus job. OU Nightly's John Barry gives us an insight to one student's concerns.
Many student workers on college campuses rely on their on-campus jobs for cost of living and their school. When everyone was sent home, many universities terminated their student workers due to the unpredictable time of returning to campus. Even with students back on campus, the student workers are still concerned for the security of their jobs.
So back in March, they terminated all the students, so we had to re-sign paperwork, and they fired basically everyone at the CAF. So if they send kids home again, then I'm going to be out of a job, and I'll have to find a new one. But as of right now, if we just go online, that'll be fine, as long as the freshmen stay here.
With school being online after Thanksgiving, the student workers want to know the future and status of their jobs.
I wish they would talk to the students more, talk to the faculty more, but it's all very up in the air. And the only people who seem to know are like the Board of Regents.
With a possible second wave this winter, student workers are hoping for the best during these unprecedented times. John Barry, OU Nightly.
The University of Oklahoma plans on extending fall and winter break while keeping students on campus.
And Breast Cancer Awareness Month has arrived. Find out how many women are celebrating today when we return.
And Hannah, what's coming up next with our weather?
Well, we'll take a look at another dry week ahead. We have some cold fronts headed our way, and where we'll be landing temperature-wise by this weekend coming up after the break. Looking out over the Oklahoma City skyline here, we're in the 80s, so it's feeling very warm today. But if you look at that dew point in the 30s, so it's feeling very dry, but it's a pretty nice day out there, and it is dry across the state. We have dew points in the 20s near the Panhandle, and that's leading to some extreme drought conditions. You can see out near Elk City, we're seeing extreme drought, and here in the yellow, we're feeling some abnormal to severe drought conditions. This is due to this ridge that we've seen sitting over the west. Now, this will start to significantly change as we go into the end of this week. You can see Thursday we'll start to feel those cooler temperatures due to this trough moving into the Oklahoma area, and it's just going to stick around into this weekend. You can see those cooler temperatures sticking around, and then Sunday this trough really starts to dip down into the southern parts of the states, and we'll be feeling those cool fall temperatures as we head into the next work week. Now, this cold front will come around Thursday night, so tomorrow it's going to be similar to today. We're in the high 80s, 87 for our high in Norman. We'll see that cold front moving through Thursday, sitting us in the high 60s, and it will feel pretty windy out there. You can see these southerly winds keeping us warm as we move into tomorrow night. Still feeling warm, very high temperatures before this cold front moves down, dropping our temperatures into the 60s. And if you take a look at Thursday, we'll be in the 40s there by Thursday night. So it's going to start to feel pretty cool around here in Norman. And if you look at our 7-day forecast, very windy Thursday and Friday. We're in the 60s. It'll start to slightly warm up into Saturday, and we'll start to see that severe drop in temperatures at the beginning of the next work week. Our highs in the 50s on Tuesday. So it's going to start to feel very cold around here. Lindsey and Will, back to you.
Looking forward to those cooler temperatures. Thank you, Hannah. The month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today some folks are letting loose in order to spread awareness. Today is National No Bra Day. The idea is to bring attention to breast cancer and encourage women to get screened. Advocates say it's a lighthearted way to remind women to get screened.
I do think a reason it's not talked about much, especially at our age, is because we're not at very high risk for breast cancer. So that's why we did that breast cancer workshop last year, because it's such an important thing to make habitual in your life, checking your breast for any irregularities, nipple discharge, lumps, as you probably know. I just think it's important to ingrain that early on.
Oklahoma Project Women offers free mammograms to those that qualify. And 4 overtimes and a wild weekend in Dallas paid off.
Yeah, it did. Now, Abby, I heard that some Sooners picked up awards from last Saturday's win.
Yes, Will, 2 Sooners were given Big 12 awards, and stick around because you're going to want to hear all about the Red River Showdown and how those 4 OTs could have been avoided when we return. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Abbi Bennett. Now let's talk sports. 2 Sooner football players picked up a Big 12 award after the Red River Showdown. TJ Pledger was named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, and linebacker David Agwebu received the Special Teams Player of the Week. But now let's hear from Audrey Goodson about what went down this weekend.
The dust is finally settled after the spine-tingling Red River Showdown on Saturday. For most Sooner fans, it was the most exciting, if not the best game in the history of the rivalry. It featured the smallest crowd at 24,000, but it was also the longest game at 4 hours and 43 minutes. It also was the highest scoring, with both teams combining for 98 points. So for the fans, it was exhausting. But what do the players and coaches have to take away?
Yeah, what an unbelievable college football game that was. I told the team in there, this game, the history of this game is as good as any in college football. The team.
And for even more on the OU-Texas game, be sure to catch Sooner Sports Pad. Our weekly sports wrap-up show replays today right after our newscast. And Fox Sports Oklahoma will also replay the show tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Now, we all know what happened with the Sooners going on into 4 OTs, but what about that crazy Monday Night Football matchup? After falling behind 20-3, Drew Brees rallied the Saints into an overtime win over the LA Chargers. Brees completed 5 passes to set up the winning 36-yard field goal by Will Lutz. The Chargers have lost 4 one-score games this season. The Saints, now 3-2, will rest up for Week 5 and will return home to face the Carolina Panthers October 25th. And the Big 12 Conference admitted that the Red River game could have taken the final 6 minutes of regulation. After the game clock added an additional 46 seconds in the 4th quarter, Texas scored a TD with 14 seconds left to force the game into overtime. 39 of these seconds was a timing error, which allowed Texas to advance downfield to score the game-tying touchdown. Now, Will and Lindsey, what a crazy game, but hey, a win is a win.
Yeah, I definitely, I think it's wild that the refs would just, let go of 34 seconds like that. That's a big margin of error.
Yeah, but I kind of like that we had 4 overtimes. I mean, it's a great story to tell. I was at the game. I mean, that's my senior year game. I can go down taking that home with me for the rest of my college career.
It was definitely a game to remember.
Yeah.
Now, when we come back, we'll see how one kid went on a joyride and how he took it to a new level.
Now, we'll take a look at how it started and how it ended when we come back.
I'm Olivia Dague at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Supreme Court ruled to end the U.S. Census count 2 weeks early after requests from the Trump administration. The census determines the number of congressional seats each state receives and was going to end October 30th. The administration argued the census should stop now so the Bureau could calculate those seats. However, others argue minorities will be excluded if the count ends early.
Now, Lindsey, I've thought about going on joyrides before, but never like this.
Yeah, no, this 11-year-old boy in Louisiana stole a school bus, which triggered a 45-minute police chase.
The little boy was able to drive off in the school bus from Progress Head Start High School because the bus was a push to start.
The chase finally ended with the kid crashing into a tree, but police were able to safely remove him from the vehicle.
Police will be charging him with theft of a motor vehicle and aggravated flight.
That guy is definitely not getting his driver's license anytime soon.
I think 5 years may be too short for him.
No, yeah.
Not sure.
And Hannah, can we expect joyride weather in the next couple of days?
I mean, it's pretty clear out there, nothing to worry about weather-wise, so I guess you could take a joyride if you wanted to, but Tomorrow's going to be very similar to today. We'll be in the high 80s here in Norman, but Thursday we'll see a cold front moving through, dropping our temperatures into the high 60s, and it'll feel pretty windy because we'll see those winds changing their direction. So our 7-day forecast showing it's very windy to Thursday and Friday. We'll be in the 60s. We'll warm up a little bit into Saturday. We'll be in the 70s, but then that'll drop back down again into Sunday. You can see we'll be in the 50s by the beginning of the next work week, so it'll start to feel cool. And I don't know about you guys, but I like the fall weather, so I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Oh, I definitely agree. Fall is one of my favorite seasons.
Me as well. Thank you for joining us for OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night, live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.